Good afternoon. It's the 8th of August, and I want to talk a little bit about the refugee program and also a direction change I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks. So it looks like we exhausted most of the questions people have, and we've got some coverage on all of those for the refugee program. And you can go back in some of my previous videos. If there's specific questions you have, you can look through there and see if you can find an answer. But you can still continue to add some more questions about any of that to these videos, and I will respond to them. But the direction change I'm talking about today for the next couple of weeks, obviously I'm going to stick to English for now for a bit. I've got questions from a couple of people. It's abroad or in South Africa and so on. Can't really always follow the Afrikaans I'm doing, especially those who are international visitors to the group or to the page, for their benefit. And I'm sure everyone else can understand when I do this in English. So for the next couple of weeks, like I say, we're going to do a little bit of a direction change. What I can do in the next couple of weeks is I will still respond to refugee questions. What is the status? What's going on with the refugee program, or specific items you need help with? But I'm also going to start incorporating life in the United States. Because I know, I use myself as an example. We came here to America about 18 years ago, and it was just me and my wife and my daughter. And when we arrived here, we had no family, no friends, no work, no nothing. But we came with a green card in our hands. We had permanent residence in our hands. So we didn't have a support system like you will have for example, in a refugee program. You will have agents helping you through the first couple of steps, finding job and so on. We didn't have support system at all. We had to figure it out ourselves. And that may put a little more stress on people, especially you have to figure it out. You don't know where to go and where to start. No, luckily I was able to do that quickly, really quickly. The nice thing about stuff in America, it's very, very easy to follow. If you just search for information, you get it quickly. The only problem is if you don't know where to search, you may get to the wrong websites. You may get to the wrong information. There's so much disinformation on the internet and later, last couple of years, that it's difficult to discern what is actual facts and what's false and what's just flat out BS. Unfortunately, with AI coming in place as well, we see people using AI to create fake news and fake stories and fake whatever. So that's also a little difficult. That's why I want to be able to answer some questions about life here in America. If you have questions for those who's planning to come over, any type of questions you may have, we can talk about that. Now you also have to understand the experiences of people living in America. It's going to be two different people. It's going to have two different experiences. For example, people always told me, yes, you're going to get to America and you're going to be on a process of, depends on what you're coming for. If you come on what type of visa, I'm not talking refugee, I'm talking other visas and stuff, that eventually you're going to get to your permanent residency and you're going to have a green card for 5 years before you can apply for citizenship. And then when I told them that I got my citizenship within 18 months from setting my foot in this country, they were all coming up, you lie, and that's not, can't be, and all that. It's because I never heard of the process that I followed. So in every system and every process, there's different processes and different rules. So each one is individually. I will have an experience, for example, here in America about a certain item, and someone else living around the corner from me will have a total different experience. But I'm here to help, to tell you. I can give you first-hand examples of what happened to me and my family and people I know. I've been working with immigrants in various places for the last, since I've been here, places I work at, where we had to get immigrants through a process and so on. So I've got some knowledge of that type of thing, so I can help you with some good answers if you have specific questions. So this I want to remind you and want to encourage you, if you are applying or for the refugee program, and you're still awaiting any answers, any phone calls, any contact from them, but you want to prepare for the big move if it happens, I can give you answers on that too. If you have questions on what do I need to prepare, because if you come here prepared, paperwork and all that type of thing, to get you settled on this side is going to be way, way faster than we come here unprepared. Now, luckily, when we came over with the diversity visa program, which gave us a green card, and the process took about 1.5 years, but the time we set foot in America, in that couple of months before that, I was ready to make sure we have everything in place. So when we came here, because we prepared so well, everything fell in place very, very quickly. I was able to get Social Security, get bank accounts, get rental agreements and all that very, very, very quickly. But it's a process. So if there's questions popping up on what do we do if we know we're going to come, preparation. One thing I can start off with, if you did your message, send them in that you are interested in becoming a refugee, and you know that's in the process and you're waiting for their email or their phone call, don't just sit and do nothing. Start preparing. The first thing you can always do is paperwork. You're going to need paperwork. The more paperwork you have, the better for you, the faster you'll get stuff done in the United States. First thing you have to get is a passport. If you don't have it, get it, because we all know how long it can take in South Africa to get a passport completed, and also with no spelling mistakes and all that on it. Check for that as well. Next thing you can do is other paperwork. You will need, to get over here, to get a green card and all that, you will need birth certificates. And for us from South Africa, it's going to be unabridged birth certificate. So ask for that. It takes a little longer. You're going to need marriage certificates, unabridged ones. That's the only ones you need unabridged, just marriage certificate and birth certificate. You're going to need high school diplomas, college diplomas, all that. It can be in Afrikaans, it's fine. Just collect them and bring them. Go to your high school right now, or if you've been out of school for the last 30 years and you don't have that certificate anymore, apply for it right now. See if you can get it from your school system where you used to go to school. So that any type of thing, document that can identify you and that can help in your history, is always, you'll win with that. So get every single item you can, and it does not have to be in English. If it can be in English right now, because you reapply for a high school diploma and I can set it out in English, that's much better. But if not, it's not a problem. You can translate them when you get to the United States. So get all that paperwork in place for every individual in your family who's coming over. Then a reminder, one guy asked me again about when you get here and you actually eventually go through a program and you go through getting green cards and later become citizen, dual citizenship, what's your opinion? I just see again this week somewhere that, remember, if you are in the United States and you take on United States citizenship, you can keep your South African citizenship. Me, I gave it up because you cannot, from now on, you can't go back to South Africa on a United States passport if you're still a South African citizen. They will require you to come back there with a South African passport. And if you're over here living a couple of years and your South African passport expired, but you already have, you're now a citizen of the United States with a US passport, you know how long it's going to take for you to get a new South African passport sitting in America? It's going to take long, more than a year. I promise you that part. Because our government who's working in our South African government people who's working in the consulates here in America, the South African consulates, they're very, very slow. So make sure you get all that done and get it in place. And then make sure you prepare yourself for getting ready for the move if you come. And then also look at other options. There's always other options to move to America. Now, all the other options is going to cost you money. Some different types of visas. The last one I want to talk about is the one I came over. They call it the green card lottery. Please, please, please be very, very, very careful on that one. There's way too many scams in the world right now, especially on that visa. So if you do apply for that visa, want to apply for that visa, it's coming up in October. They only open applications from about the 5-6 October to 5-6 November. It's only open for 1 month. You go on the official website, you fill out the information, it's free. You don't have to pay anyone anything. If you have to go on a website where you have to pay someone to do it for you, please don't, because you will never get that information inside, because the other companies who's doing, the private agencies who's doing it for you on your behalf, none of them is accepted. So please don't pay anyone to do that. And you can only fill out in October. And if you do this in this October, you fill it out, you should receive a letter, an email from them, from the United States, here by May, June of next year, to see if you actually got it. Now, last when I did this and ours was approved, it was 50,000 visas throughout the entire world every year. South Africa only had 750 of those slots. I got one of them, obviously, because I'm here right now. So you can see the odds for you getting it, because there's about 20 million people applying for that, for the 50,000 visas, and South Africa only have about 700 slots. But once you get it, they'll send you a letter and stuff in the mail here by May, June of next year. Once you get that, you have to fill out a thick document. That's all your background for you, all the way back until you were born, and your parents all the way back until they was born. So start preparing that type of information as well. So they look at that background. It's a pretty thick document you have to fill in and send back to the embassy in South Africa. And once they receive all the paperwork and you are approved, they'll call you in for a interview. And then in the interview, they're gonna check. That's what they told us flat out. Don't even show up if you don't have unabridged birth certificates and unabridged marriage certificates. You need those. We showed up with regular ones. They send us back. They say you have to get those before you can come. So for us, it took about 3 more months to go get those, and then we went back. But because we already had stuff or lined up our interview, they just moved our interview date for later. But if you have it already, now once you go for that interview and everything passes in the interview and all the documentation is done, they're going to stamp a visa, a green card, in your passport right there. It's not the official green card, it's a visa. And it will give you 6 months to be out of the country. And that's on your own. I'm not talking about refugee status or nothing else. Now I'm talking about the diversity visa, the visa lottery type thing. Once you get that stamped in your ID, you're going to have to be on your passport. You're going to have to be inside America within 6 months. And when you get here, you put in your paperwork forward to them, and within a month, you get your green card. And then you can start, like me, coming in directly with a green card. So that's another option you can do, apply for, while you're waiting, if you want to really come over here and not sure if you're going to get refugee status. That's just this one will cost you. You're going to have to buy your own flight, airline tickets to get here. And then be able to take care of yourself when you get here. So that's my direction. If you have any questions about, we can continue with some answers on the refugee program, but also now questions on what's life like in America, what specific things that we need to take care of and what we have to look out for. And then also regular stuff happening in the country. If you see stuff happening on the news, or rephrase. If you see stuff happening on social media that apparently happens in America, you can ask me, because I see a lot of false information spread on social media of what's apparently happening in America, which is not happening here. and we can try to make people scared or so on. So if you have any questions, I can answer those, and then also what you can do when you get here. So that's all for now, and like I said, I will stick to English for a couple of weeks so that my international guests also can understand what's going on. Thank you so much.